Hello, I am Radagast, at your service. So, interesting topic tonight, kind of following up on the ambassador one from last night. The title is The Ambassador and Entities, Some Musings. And I call it Some Musings because I aim to be very responsible in the information that, even though it's my opinion, I am responsible for it. And so generally, when I say things, I'm aiming to be correct. But it's a test in a way. So like a lot of tests, you might do very well, but 100% is another score. And so I do what I can. Now, when I go into the reason I call this musings is because I'm going to be maybe a little less responsible. The ambassador and the entities. Now, when we were listening to the tapes, the interviews, it seemed like there might have been a count of 4 entities if they weren't being conflated. If they were being conflated, there's 2. If they're not, which it seems like it wasn't, basically what I heard was there were 2 entities that are on the planet. One associated with 5 and Judaism, and the other one being an Islamic entity. And then there were 2 that he heard of entities awakening. So if 2 are already on, now there could be this, you can awaken on the planet and be on the planet. So we can see how those 2 entities can be both said be on the planet while they're awakening. So whether we have 2 or 4 is very interesting. Now, actually, I'm going to say something that might shock some people. What's interesting is we have a Jewish entity, an Islamic entity, according to the ambassador, if I heard him correct. We know about the Islamic. I was a Jewish one. It was, like I said, the speech was a little muffled, or the way, because sometimes also his Y's and J's interchange, as many languages do. Speak to somebody from Scandinavia, they'll do that. So we have Islamic, we have Judaic. It's almost like, now where's the Christian representative? Well, you don't have to be on Earth to be a representative. And interestingly enough, from a completely Gaian perspective, from being Gaia is my God, and I don't mean like the goddess, I'm talking about based on really, if you watch my first video, Paradox Disruption, Gaia is our God, I kind of go through it, so I won't go through it here. But Jesus, I've had interactions and always very called on when things one abduction, getting ready to happen. It was a little, you get a little paralyzed, and so the first time I had actually done it by myself, managed to offset it. But the second time I just said, you know what, it just came to me. It was almost like, I think maybe you've been there and said, say my name. I did. They were gone. And after a quick thank you, so was he. Always leaving with asking, I'll be there or something. I can't. There's a very exact phrase that's not coming to me right now. And it's just really beautiful. It's like, I'm here, and this is not about worship or anything. Now, but we do have probably a billion people that do give their energy through worship to Jesus. And very nicely, because of the way things are set up, many will say, Jesus is God. Something that will work okay for me, because I really feel that the Jesus energy and the Gaian energy are in complete alignment, total alignment. And so it's just, I just really feel like the Christians already have their entity very, very well represented. It will be interesting to see what the other 2 of the major 3 are bringing to the table. I had wrote Jesus, a benevolent, potent, aligned being. Now, Ron Van Dyke, as Paradox Man, said in tonight's video, this is the 24th, and of course he dates them, but basically the one he did on Saturday. I have a quote about, this is exact words when he was, this is paraphrasing, about the dragon family being possibly Luciferian, Illuminati Luciferian, and he said, maybe it is, That's a quote. Maybe it is. Those are the exact 3 words. In the middle of it, he had a bunch of things. Maybe it is, and then he went on. And I really don't like to work with other people's words. The only thing is, those 3 words were kind of confirmation for my own altered state intel. And working with it because even though that seemed to be kind of there, it wasn't feeling ominous. So rather than, well, now the other thing I'm working with is 2 beings who are awakening have probably, in this kind of, I guess, a stasis kind of thing, or they're able to slow down their, just whatever the state is, they're awakening. But that would tell me that they have been on the earth for a while in Gaia's field, and they were in their dormant state during 2012, and so when things cracked and we came above and we reconnected with the pleroma and Gaia really awakened, they were going to be in that field. So I just have a feeling these awakening beings might not have been the beings they went to sleep as, or they went to sleep that way and were waiting for the proper alignment to be able to align the right way. And the other thing was, regarding tonight's Ron Van Dyke's video, where he was struggling with the word rulers, as I do also. We're all trying, we understand the need, and I did like to, once again, to break down from the word, archon or ruler, which is why the archons got their name, but this is talking about the actual root of ruler, and I like how it really goes off into, there's also the governor rudder influence effect. So the word I really like in this is helmsman. Basically, you're on a project or anything, and the helmsman is just there to, be able to read the sign. This is the person who knows how the currents work, know how to work the sails. You might ask, hey, can you, bring that one up there? But this is the one who understands how to navigate whatever the adventure or plan is in a successful fashion by having the most skilled person. That's the key thing, is that at every place where we're coordinating and people need some coordination, this isn't about politics and bureaucracy. This is about technocrats and ability, where you want the best person that's available in a certain locality to be the one that's bringing the goods. So I like helmsman. I also like, because rudder, what are you going to call them, rudders? Governor carries baggage with it. Even though governor can really mean very much like you put a governor on an engine so it doesn't exceed itself, things like that. But even that limitation, governor, even that thing implies limitation. There's some baggage with the word governor. Helmsman sounds kind of corny, but it's really quite sweet for me. Maybe there's words in other languages that mean just that, and we can all adopt it since we're all interconnected now, and having common language, at least for main concepts, would be great, because it would be very unifying. So now that we're getting, here's what I'm getting, all right, from even if the dragon family is Luciferian. The whole concept of Lucifer kind of enters our consciousness back a while when mankind was created. And I guess, who knows about the bowing down and all the rest of that stuff. But apparently there was will you align with these beings that I have created? Now, who's the creator can get very interesting. And when you realize the absolute total suppression that Gaia is God has taken place. I mean, even the mystery schools themselves, I know the Pythagorean school, revealing of the deep mysteries of the school had the penalty of death. Now, what were the Pythagorean schools protecting that they would kill their own students? How to draw a triangle? I mean, seriously. A square? An octagon? Do you think that was what the death penalty? No, I can guarantee you. And was it the teaching complex geometry? The average person was totally illiterate. But you could tell that person who God was. And why would this be such a deadly? Why would they even kill their own to keep this secret? Because if it got out, what happened to the Cathars and any other place where that knowledge was known to exist, that our God is Gaia, was scrapped out. Now this serves two purposes. We have, of course, a lot of conflating gods, who's Yahweh, who's Yaldabaoth, and all the pretenders. Okay, these are all pretenders. I had to choose between that and my goblet. Remember my goblet from this is onyx, yellow onyx. It's a nice glass. And so if you completely eliminate who the real God is, when you start having conversations about God in the literature that people are supposed to read, whether you can first of all, you can conflate gods, as happens a lot with Yaldabaoth and Enlil, who I believe are two separate personages, but get very conflated. Like in case maybe there was a deal made with Yaldabaoth to get the whole thing running, and then 400 years later, their on the earth person dealing things, or at least sending the messages, could have been Enlil. But let's not go there. Okay, the resetting. All right. So, and by hiding, when you do, like if you're talking about this allegory we have of God creating the anthropos, humanity in legal talk. 3 words in humanity. I'll get back. I have it written down here. The 3 words that I like to. Humanity means monsters. Justice means punishment. And suffering means consent, but it's really suffering that you allow something. It's like if somebody insults you, you will suffer that insult. That means you will allow it. Consent is really pulling it, but allowance is consent. So when you're saying we're suffering, a real cynical, psychopath might go, duh. Because what you're saying by entering it there, like I'm suffering, you're just basically saying I'm insulted, but I'm allowing it. So that's why we have to watch it. Often completing, like, how about we want justice? Okay, so what you're saying legally is we want punishment. So again, watch what you ask for. But if you said we want justice for, I don't know, let's pick Dick Cheney, just for an instance, not to single him out, just a name that maybe nobody's going, oh, that's right, Fox News might write me. But anyway, I'm not worried about that one. So by hiding who God really is, we can now talk about this kind of discussion between Lucifer and God about the worthiness of the anthropos. Okay? And then, basically saying, and then the whole thing being set up, okay, I really don't think they're up to it, and especially since the way you're selling them, and I bet if I just even offer them this trinket or that trinket, I can have them dancing all over the place, and they'll be killing each other over the fake trinket. Sound familiar? Not that story, what we do. All right, so, and then the whole system that got laid down is just cosmic injustice, non-punishment for an absolute scam, a complete scam on every level. So I see what's happening here as a reset. Now, at one level, it's we're hearing global reset, and they are all these things, but I also feel it's a cosmic reset. And if you get back to the allegory of the worthiness of the anthropos, you can see and how up until now we have been, really, it's been a dirty game. So now I think it might be time for the clean game. And by the clean game is Jubilee. Everybody is completely flattened out. Everything is set up where everybody not only has good housing, always food, warmth, and not just subsistence living. Subsistence living, plus, of course, discretionary spending. And I really believe that discretionary spending part, which is going to really, because I mean, it's one thing, you work for your food, but I'm talking about where this is really an equitable, sweet, beautifully well done society. And the reason why I think that has to be set up is because this is the ultimate test of the anthropos. If they get that set up, and then the same old crap starts, and people go, oh, how could that happen? That's where self-deception comes in. That's where looking in the mirror comes in. That's what really being honest with yourself. Because the culpability of us and what has happened is really hard to swallow. And what's nice about the reset is people don't really have to swallow. They're not going to have to go through. It would be helpful if they did, because then they would, when the reset comes, they'd be ready for what's come, to conduct themselves in a way that they didn't repeat. But they can't. Only we can reset us. They can reset the playing field, and then we can demonstrate just where we're at. I mean, we're talking about we can self-govern. I'm going to tell you, they're going to set it up that everything we have ever said we can do will be made possible. I guarantee it. It has to. Because unfortunately, the way the anthropos is conducting itself, this is still, again, this would be Lucifer's coup, where this is it, guys. I'm going to set you up, and it's going to be so obvious who the fuck-ups are this time. No blaming me anymore. It's going to be spotlight on you. If you screw up this time, you show what you're worth. So I hope that's a word to the wise. I really believe that's what we're looking at, a cosmic reset. And again, when you're dealing, if a sovereign deals with a cosmic being of Lucifer who is actually straight, but he's Heyoka, and again, apparently according to the thing, there seems to be some cosmic being who is saying, nah. Because don't forget, we're the 10th iteration of anthropos. So just like, and of course, and Gaia came out of the center of our galaxy to be with us. I mean, this is private. This is personal. This is Gaia, her anthropos, and the rest of the universe looking in on us. All right. The only thing we haven't been told, and maybe this is it, because I'm telling you, John Lash is telling you. And I know there's a lot of other people, but some people are just this whole goddess thing. Gaia is God. This is our God. This is our connection. This is our creator. Yes, all hooked up. You have to, once you understand the continuum, you don't start. I mean, it's almost like you had an agreement where, that she left pregnant. Let's put it this way. And it was understood that she would be caring for the child her own. And then when the child goes, I'm not listening to you. I'm going to go to my father. And then he goes there and the father goes, no, I left you with your mother. You got to listen to her. I'm done. And that's really the setup, in my opinion. So, so it's really important to realize when we're talking about that we are aligned with God, it's really nice to align with the God that actually came to be with us. And this is also why I think she aligns so beautifully with Jesus, because in each case, we have somebody who gave of themselves for the anthropos, or humanity, if you want to think of us as monsters. And I think, again, this whole reset is, okay, are you the anthropos or are you humanity? And I mean, that is my gut feeling of what this is. So that's it for this particular, there's a lot of things to do. I want to get about rulers and compassion and stuff, but I'm going to keep this fairly short. It's just under 20 minutes. And I think I'm going to, okay, reset it. So that's, so once again, I think who these two entities waking up, I don't know. The Anunnaki kind of figures in. I mean, they are part of this theater, this drama. I mean, this is a big drama, and we, the anthropos, are supposedly the ultimate creators. Well, let's be really good actors, and let's be heroes. That's our role. Let's be heroes. Let's be the God beings, and let's really take this show and let's make it great. I mean, once again, if we show up, that's also why they're offering to pull out. I mean, as Ron says, they're going to be, there's going to be helmsmen for the foreseeable future, and then it sounds like they wish to withdraw. And of course, that is also going to be part of it. It's the withdrawal that the real test begins, because I believe that the whole helmsmanship is going to be a golden age and a very beautiful time to be on this planet. But I also believe that it's being given as a complete gift. It's not a test, but the gift is a test by our nature. Our nature makes it a test. So I guess that's what I have to say on the subject. Before all else, I see the God within you.